Good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful Thursday. I'm just happy that it's the end of your week, and I'm glad to see everybody's here. We're still in Era 1, Exploration and Colonization. We'll be in this era for a couple of weeks. We're taking a look at the reasons why people were moving around and settling in the New World in the 1600s. So far, we've talked about the three mother countries of Europe, England, France, and Spain. And they are the three main characters of this unit. But starting today, we're really going to zoom in like a camera and focus on the English settlements in the New World because they are the ones that will eventually become the United States of America. So we don't want to forget that Spain and France are there in the New World in their settlements, but now we're really going to zoom in and focus on what the English are doing. Okay? So we're going to start with a quick write. In your notebook on page 5, today's date is August 27th. Today's quick write is, what struggles do you think colonists had when they first arrived in the Americas? So you want to think, if you were there, what kind of troubles would you have? In our Hawk STEM for success today, I believe it was difficult to settle in new territory because, and you're going to finish that on your own. So we'll go ahead and pause right here and give you some time. Okay, now that we've shared, let's move on. Today we're going to focus on the first successful English colony in the New World. What we're going to do today is we will simulate the difficulties faced by colonists in the first successful colony named Jamestown with a game. Why are we doing this? Well, colonists faced harsh conditions and didn't expect to work as hard as they needed to in order to survive. And how you're going to do this is in the end of the game, you're going to explain why colonists were willing to risk their lives to settle in the New World. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that you all were given composition notebooks from our campus for this year. So we're going to need you to go grab one. Come right on back. We're going to be using this composition book this year for big dates. There's some dates in history that you should just know concrete. And so this is going to be our big date book. And the first page, you can go ahead and skip it. So we have a cover page and move into page 2. And at the top, you're going to write 1607 Jamestown. And you're going to add these two pieces of information. Jamestown was the first successful English colony, and it was established for the commercial profit of tobacco. Very important information. I've even seen it on Jeopardy. So maybe one day you'll be playing Jeopardy and this will come up. Your big date book will have just super significant dates. So we're going to be using our notebook today to play a game called Would You Survive Jamestown? So what you're going to do on the same page, hello, Mr. Kitty. On the same page where you have your information for Jamestown, you're going to start your points. You're going to keep track of your points during this game, okay? So the first thing you're going to have to do is decide who you're going to be in this game. You get to choose your character just like you do in Monopoly. Your choices are a soldier, a farmer, or an artist. So go ahead and write down either soldier, farmer, or artist on your paper. Now let's see how many points you get to start the game. If you're starting as a soldier, you're going to get 15,000 points. If you're starting as a farmer, 14,000 points. And if you're an artist, 13,000 points. So let's see how you do in this game. Congratulations, you've just received a charter or permission from Queen Elizabeth to start a colony in North America. Promises of gold and adventure await you. Prepare to set sail. It's going to be a long trip, 2 months at least. So we're headed to the New World. Now, this is the first round. You must pick a leader. So underneath on your paper, whatever your character is, I'm going to go ahead and maybe show you an example. Go ahead and write the letter of the leader you choose. John White, A, B, John Smith, or C, Ralph Lane. So for example, if I started as an artist, on round 1, I'm going to choose to follow B, John Smith, okay? And an artist started with 13,000 points. So let's see how we do. If you're following John White, way to go. John White was a gentleman artist who created some of the first pictures of the colonies. You're going to get to add 1,000 points to your total. However, when John White left the colony of Roanoke for more supplies, he discovered that Spain and England were at war. He had to give up his ship for the war effort, and when he was finally able to return to Roanoke 3 years later, all of his colonists had vanished. So then you have to subtract 700 points. So that would mean if you follow John White, you're going to earn a total of plus 300. Okay. All right. If you picked John Smith, way to go. John Smith was quite the survivalist. He was able to convince the early colonists of Jamestown to stop fooling around with gold and start working. He famously said, "Those who do not work do not eat." Earn 1,000 points to your total. If you picked Ralph Lane, Ralph Lane was not very friendly to nearby Native Americans. In fact, he ordered his soldiers to react violently against nearby Native Americans. Ralph Lane has greatly damaged your relationship with the Native American people, and war may be upon you. Lose 500 points. Ooh. So you should have a total for the end of round 1, okay? Now we're going to round 2. We've got to pick a place to settle. We're going to decide to settle either in Site 1. This area is in inland New England. It has plenty of natural resources, including fresh water, wild game, and trees to build a nice fort around your settlement. However, the site is surrounded by Native American communities, some of which may still be angry about what Ralph Lane did. Or you can choose Site 2. This area is closer to the sea, making it easier to see Spanish if they may be trying to invade. Also, this area is an island, and it may be easier to fortify and defend in case of war. On the downside, there's not as many natural resources here, not much fresh water. So here's an image of Site 1. Ooh, that looks like a good place to settle. And here's an image of Site 2. So go ahead and write down on your paper, will you be settling in Site 1 or Site 2? All right, and let's see what happens to your settlement. If you chose Site 1, nice work. As long as your men can stop looking for gold long enough to find and grow food, you're in great shape at this location. So good job. Add 1,000 points to your total. If you chose Site 2, things are not going so well at Site 2. Your group does not have access to natural resources or fresh water. You may not have enough supplies to survive the winter. You send your leader back home to England to gather supplies. So you're going to lose 500 points here. Settling in the New World was not easy. We have 2 more rounds to go. This is going to be the round where we build a fort. And I hope that you're sitting somewhere with lots of materials, because as soon as you arrived at your site, you and your fellow settlers decided to build a fort around your settlement. Everyone agrees that the fort should be built as quickly as possible to guard against invaders, which could include the natives or the Spanish. So, the original settlers did it in 19 days, but you're going to build a fort in 90 seconds. As soon as I say go, use the items you have around you to build a fort around your computer. Are you ready? Set, go. All right, good job, everybody. It looks like you had some fun. So let's look at your points. Does your fort enclose all sides of your computer? Does it go all the way around your computer? If it does, you can add 100 points to your total. Does your fort have any lookouts? Like looking out places, maybe you could point out a cannon. Congratulations. you earn another 100 points. Now for the last round. Oh, after building the fort so quickly with all that heavy armor in the hot summer climate, you and the other settlers are exhausted and you start to feel sick. So everybody loses 100 points. What are you going to do to get rid of your sickness? A, consult a doctor at the colony. B, just drink lots of fluids, just water basically. Or C, try a strange herbal remedy. So let's make your decisions now. This is the final round. If you chose to consult a doctor, as it turns out, the colony doctor is pretty new at medicine. He tries bloodletting at first, which means he drains. And when that doesn't work, he uses a tool to drill a hole in your skull. Ouch, Jamestown was brutal. Lose 200 points. If you chose to drink lots of fluid, unfortunately, most of the water in the marsh areas around you is brackish. It's salty. So the more you drink, the thirstier and sicker you get. You start to hallucinate and the paranoia sets in. Lose 200 points. And if you chose a strange herbal remedy, well, that herbal remedy doesn't make you any worse, so that's good. No points lost, no points won. In Jamestown, there was just a lot of a struggle to survive. So let's see your totals and decide who survived Jamestown. Did you survive? And you'll notice down here the 10,999 to 8,000, you probably should have stayed back in England. A lot of the settlers coming to the New World had no idea the struggles they were going to face. Columbus's letter to the Queen of Spain was just about how awesome the New World was. All right, guys, so we're going to get ready to wrap it up. At the bottom of your page for Jamestown in your big date book, we're going to answer this question, okay? Why do you think the settlers of Jamestown were willing to stay and struggle in the New World? I'm going to give you a few minutes for that. All right, guys, it's time to wrap up. A quick reminder that Friday's check-in is in the Google Classroom. We know that you don't have regular classes tomorrow, so please come into the Google Classroom and check for an assignment. It's just a quick question from the week, and make sure you turn it in the Google Classroom before 4 on Friday for attendance. Have a wonderful weekend. We can't wait to see you again on Monday.